Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Josh and you are watching our history. Today we're going over the Dutch Cape Colony. So if you enjoy this, please be sure to like, and if you're new here, consider smashing the subscribe button. If this isn't your first rodeo and you haven't shown some love to the subscribe, now is your opportunity. Thank you very much for watching. The Dutch Cape Colony, also known as Kaapkolonie, was a Dutch colony in southern Africa established by Jan van Riebeeck in 1652. Its main purpose was to serve as a resupply and layover port for the Dutch United East India Company (VOC), trading in Asia. Initially a commandment and a later governorate of the VOC, the Cape Colony expanded and integrated much of the modern-day South Africa from 1652 to 1795. It briefly came under the rule of the Batavian Republic from 1803 to 1806. The colony's growth as a settler colony in the years following its establishment was not initially favored by the VOC shareholders, whose focus was primarily on profits from Asian trade. The Dutch United East India Company established the only permanent settlement that did not serve as a trading post. This settlement, known as Vryburger, became an attractive retirement destination for company employees. To lease a piece of land as a Vryburger, an employee had to cultivate crops for the company and sell them at a fixed price. However, farming on these lands required a significant amount of labor, leading to an influx of slaves imported from Madagascar, Mozambique, and various parts of Asia. Additionally, the arrival of Huguenot settlers who sought refuge after the revocation of the Edict of Nantes further contributed to the growing population of the colony. As a result, the settlement prospered and saw a significant increase in inhabitants. In response to the authoritarian rule of the company, which controlled various aspects of farming, trade, and immigration, some farmers sought to escape by moving further inland. To maintain control over these migrants, the company established a magistracy in Swellendam in 1745 and another in Governorate in 1786. The Gamtoos River was declared as the eastern frontier of the colony, but Trekboers soon crossed it to prevent clashes with Bantu peoples advancing from East Central Africa. The VOC agreed in 1780 to designate the Great Fish River as the boundary of the colony. This decision aimed to avoid conflicts and establish territorial limits. In 1795, following the Battle of Muizenberg in Cape Town, the British took control of the colony. However, as per the terms of the Peace of Amiens in 1802, Britain handed over the colony to the Dutch on the 1st of March 1803. Due to the nationalization of the United East India Company by the Batavian Republic, the Dutch government directly ruled the colony from The Hague. This control was short-lived as the outbreak of the Napoleonic Wars in May 1803 nullified the Peace of Amiens. In January 1806, the British reoccupied the colony after the Battle of Blauberg. The Anglo-Dutch Treaty of 1814 officially confirmed the transfer of sovereignty to Great Britain. History. The establishment of the European colony in South Africa by traders of the United East India Company, the VOC, led by Jan van Riebeeck in 1652, marked the beginning of an important chapter in the region's history. Initially, the Cape settlement served as a crucial resupply point and a resting place for the VOC ships traveling between the Netherlands and the Batavian in the Dutch East Indies. Over time, this support station evolved into a permanent settler community, giving rise to the Boers, who were the forefathers of the modern-day Afrikaners. The Cape Dutch, the descendants of the early settlers, played a significant role in shaping the cultural and social fabric of South Africa. Kuna and San of the Cape, the southwest of Africa, specifically the Cape region, was inhabited initially by the San and the Khoisan peoples, with the latter being primarily pastoralists. The estimated population of the Khoisan people was between 13,000 and 15,000. However, their seasonal visits to the area were disrupted by the arrival of the European settlers. The Khoisan people grazed their cattle at the foot of Table Mountain, only to find the land occupied and farmed by the settlers. This led to the First Khoi-Dutch War, followed by a series of Kuku-Dutch wars. The natives eventually ceded the land to the settlers in 1660. In 1672, Commissioner Arnold van van Riebeeck formally purchased the Cape Territory to prevent further disputes, despite it already being ceded in 1660. Freeburgers. In the 17th century, the VOC supported the idea of having free men at the Cape of Good Hope. This led to many settlers requesting to be discharged from their duties in order to become freeburgers. Jan van Riebeeck, the Dutch colonial administrator at the time, approved this notion and designated two areas, Groenewald and Dutch Garden, near the Liesbeek River for agricultural purposes in 1657. These areas were separated by the Amstel River. Among the numerous applicants, 9 were selected as the best and were granted the land for farming. This marked the transition of these individuals from servants to subjects of the company, known as freemen or freeburgers. Trekboers. During the early settlement of Cape Town, European livestock farmers, known as Trekboeren, migrated to the interior tableland, leaving the coastal farming lands. These Trekboeren contested with the Kru-speaking cattle herders for the best grazing lands. This period of Cape society was characterized by diversity, which is reflected in the emergence of Afrikaans. Originally began as a Kru-Dutch pidgin and later evolved into a creolized language known as Kitchen Dutch, used by slaves and serfs. Eventually, Cape Islam adopted Afrikaans as a written language using Arabic letters. By the time the British rule began in 1795, the socio-political foundations of the Cape Society were firmly established. British conquest. In 1795, France occupied the Dutch Republic, prompting Great Britain, who was at war with France, to occupy the Dutch Republic's territory in order to gain control of the seas on the route to India. A fleet of 9 British warships arrived at Simonstown, and with the defeat of the Dutch militia at the Battle of Muizenberg, took control of the territory. In 1798, the United East India Company transferred its territories and claims to the Batavian Republic, established by France. The company eventually ceased to exist in 1799. As relations improved between Britain and France, the Cape Colony was handed over to the Batavian Republic in 1803 as per the Treaty of Amiens. In 1806, the Cape, which was under the nominal control of the Batavian Republic, was reoccupied by the British following their victory of the Battle of Blauberg. This occurred after a year of broken peace between Britain and Napoleonic France, during which Napoleon had been exerting his influence over the Batavian Republic. The British established their colony in the Cape, and with the aim of controlling trade routes to the Far East. In 1814, the Dutch government formally relinquished sovereignty over the Cape to the British through the terms of the Convention of London. If you enjoy this channel and you'd like to support more content like this, because all contributions are greatly appreciated, please check out the Patreon link in the description below.